Hello!
Hey everyone, welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Gini and Chris.
That'd be me. I'm gonna sneeze like right in the beginning of this thing.
Okay, go ahead, sneeze. Don't.
I've been working outside for 3 days, not doing lawn work. Just all the work I did was outside. It just happened, so the allergies are crazy. Hi, everybody. Mine are red like I'm crying.
No, I just knocked him in the face, so he's crying right now.
It's like getting hit in the nose by Tyson.
All right, before we start, whoa. Hi, Mary. Before we start, don't forget to share all of our posts, all of our lives, anything that we post on Wednesday night chats. As this weekend comes along, I'm going to quietly sit and find who the share winner is to next week announce it and send you your $200 gift card to wherever you want.
She's gonna say quietly because one of us has to, and I never do.
Sounds about
Hey, Jerry.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Jerry.
Jerry always tells us hi from Central Virginia.
Yeah, I know.
I know where you're at.
Tracy. Okay, so share. Wow,
Yep.
look, you guys are doing great tonight.
Holy cow, where'd all you people
Hello,
come from?
Ron Jackson.
Welcome back. Madeline, hello.
So don't forget, those of you that are just hopping on, if you share our lives and share our posts, a share winner will be picked next week to win a $200 gift card of your choice.
Hola from Chicago. I like it. Hi, Carol.
All right, so tonight's topic, we are talking about CA7s, why they get denied, and how to get them fixed.
Oh, shoot.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm ready.
And so there are going to be 4 things that you need to attach to your CA7. So please make sure you guys have a pen and a paper handy to write these 4 things down. From what we've heard...
Yes, Ron, that's you.
From what we've heard is when you attach the 4 things to your CA7, you will get paid.
Hi, Carol Silva.
This is what we heard. So that's what we heard. So if some of you are still not getting paid on them by sending in the 4 things that we tell you to turn in, and there's something wrong. So when that happens, let us know.
Let me just correct one thing. I never correct my wife because that's not smart. But right now I'm going to correct her just for a second. It's not what we heard.
Yeah, it's what we heard.
No.
That it is being accepted with the 4 pieces of paper.
Yeah, but
That's what I meant.
The information came from a PowerPoint presentation that was made for, I don't even know, supervisors, claims examiners, nurse case managers, whatever. And I came across it by accident when I was doing searches like a couple of years ago. And I found this presentation or this slide on the slideshow that said, in order to get paid on a CA7, attach these things. I was like, well, shoot. If they're teaching their people about it, we should teach our people about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
All right. I know you guys have been seeing us. We've been traveling all over the place. We have Dr. Henry out in Fort Lauderdale that should be coming on with us maybe in about 60 days.
We're having a little difficulty getting him to electronically sign a document. Not that he's not trying to. We're having technical difficulties, but we've agreed and the deal's done, so we're happy about that.
And we had our partner Joe come down from Massachusetts Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday yesterday. You guys saw I was posting my hotel pictures of the beach for those of you that are the beach lovers.
And for those of you that thought, those brats are at the beach, let me tell you something. I went on the beach for like 15 minutes the whole time I was there. I got to see it some, but our partner Joe is a task master.
So we were working our butts off.
I'm the president. Look, I'm the president of the company, and he was working like he's the president of the company. But he's been doing this a while, and I'm smart. I'm smart enough to take good advice. He's really good at this.
So before you guys all start asking, are you guys coming to here? Are you coming to there?
The answer is definitely no. We're not going there.
We are coming. We have a lot of doctors lined up. We're still in the process. I know I listed a few places that we do know that are going to be coming for sure. So if you are in those places, get yourselves ready because anywhere from 60 to 120 days, we will be there. We're doing so much better now that I've taken over.
No doubt. Oh my God.
And we're getting more leads and more responses from doctors. So
Teresa
coming.
said Chicago, baby. And
Yep.
Okay, so from here, I don't see well. That was one of those things you blow into, but it looks like a slice of pizza,
Yeah.
and I thought Chicago
No, it was
pizza.
those little things.
Hey, Tammy.
So we are coming.
Yeah, and Chicago is one of the areas. So I can't sit here and promise you that these areas are going to be locked in. What I can tell you is when I take doctors' words for it,
That's all we could do.
and that
Until
say,
they-
you know, we love it and we're going to sign the agreement, and in some, forget that, we're going to sign the agreement. You know, sometimes you just get so excited you just start spewing and you say stuff you wish you would have said.
But we are excited.
That almost just happened, but we have potential. Let's call them potential doctors right now. Aside from Dr. Henry in Fort Lauderdale, which we know is a done deal, St. Louis is one of those potentials. By the way, I see that on there, and Chicago. But we had a conversation with a doctor in Chicago downtown, and he's a high-level guy. But what I love about him is he really loves helping. He loves his patients, and you can find plenty of doctors which we don't work with, or we try not to purposely not work with doctors that just care about money. If your driver is money, you're not meant for this company. So this guy's really a loving doctor, and we've been very fortunate. All of our doctors now are, and that's by design. We're very picky. But he's in Chicago. We've got another group that's got offices in Portland and Seattle. 10 of them, to be exact.
Yeah, guys. So we're coming. Not only are we coming by one, some doctors are wanting to do
In
franchise
multiples.
in multiples, 5+.
Yeah, so what we're looking at over the next month is adding 16 to 20 something new offices, which is that's a job. Okay, Jennifer's got to do all the training, and Kamini, and Eduardo's got to get everybody onboarded for credentialing so they can get set up. So we've got some work to do, but this is what we're here for. We're here to give our mission, a doctor in range of every federal employee nationwide. So we have an opportunity now to bring on a lot of new doctors. And our office in Clearwater, I'll say, they're working on another 15 offices. Hopefully that happens. Everyone that knows them, feel free and give them some encouragement so we can make that happen. We need to have a federal injury centers office everywhere in the country. Yeah, Oklahoma too, Ron. Exactly right. And the reason why is that 1 out of 7 federal employees who are hurt hasn't accepted claims. 6 out of 7 are denied. And but at federal injury centers, it's 6.5 out of 7 are approved, and the other half are just not approved yet. So what does that mean? It means that 7 out of 7. Nobody can say 100%, but what we can say, and you've all heard me say it, is that all legitimate, timely filed claims should be approved. Legitimate meaning it actually happened at work, and timely filed meaning it got filed within 3 years of the injury. And so what we do that's different than everyone else at federal injury centers is we get your claims approved, and we never stop fighting. If the claims examiner denies it, we go again. If they deny it again, we go again. And we keep going until we get it approved. Sometimes the claims examiner just keeps saying no, and 6 months later they have to say yes. But we never give up. Other doctors give up because they're not getting paid. What we say is, well, that's the way it goes. We'll get paid later. And if we don't do a good enough job to eventually win, we don't deserve to get paid. And so that's the way we live. If you lose, we lose. There's no way we should win when you lose. And so we all win together. So we like to get claims accepted. I'm excited to get more doctors around the country that can do that. And they'll be able to do that by virtue of our training. Because we've got a robust training system that teaches doctors to write great narratives and explains to them how to advise you to do reconsiderations instead of oral hearings, for example. We teach them everything from, how to read a CA1 to, how to do a schedule award, which is a big deal, right? So,
and you guys have to understand, some of these doctors are going from primary care practice or just cracking backs as a chiro, and this is foreign language to them. These papers and and I don't mean this bad, your complaints of your injuries, they have to understand how the job is connected to your injury. So it's something they have to learn from scratch all over.
Yeah, so the last few days I've been talking to a lot of doctors. I mean, all these people that I'm talking about that are looking at coming on, that's a lot of work.
It is.
Explaining to them what we're doing so that I can get them to the phase where they sign the agreement. Why does that matter to you that they sign the agreement? Because signing the agreement means they have to follow my rules. One of those rules is we never charge you out of your own pocket, among other rules, right? Nobody pays a penny no matter what. Somebody asked me the other day, what if the claim never gets approved? I said, well, that means you did a bad job, but you shouldn't get paid. That doctor probably won't come on board with me. I don't think they like that answer. But that's the answer. Do a good job, and nobody has to worry about it. So, anyways, we're excited to bring all these on. We want to help everybody in this country. And as I know it, nobody else has that big goal that wants to help everybody. What I know is you've got individual offices that pop up here and there, and they think they're a federal workers' comp doctor, and they started to make a bunch of money. But then they didn't do a good job because they weren't trained. And not only did they not make money, but you didn't get your benefits, and your supervisors threatened to fire you because your claim's not accepted. Well, when your claim gets accepted at a 6.5 out of 7 rate, the supervisor can't fire you. It's illegal.
If anybody's asking questions, give us a minute because I'm trying to still post.
And I'm not ready to answer questions yet. I'm talking. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Talk amongst yourself with Chris.
Joe said this, talk amongst yourself. Yeah.
So again, those of you that are just hopping on, we are talking about how to get your CA7s approved, and if they've been denied, what to do to resubmit them and get them approved the second time. And don't forget, share, and share some more.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'll be picking the share winner with the person that has shared the most posts and lives and everything that we've been putting on our Wednesday night chats.
And there's 2 of you that are way in the lead.
2 of you are in the run.
Way in the lead. We'll see what happens. But the rest of you, you have a chance too, because it's, what does it take to hit the share button? It's easy.
If you guys continue doing this, we're definitely we'll increase dollar amounts because we're giving away $200. We'll increase dollar amounts. We'll be giving away. Well, I'll be giving away Chris if anybody wants him.
Believe me, you'll return me.
Valentine's Day is coming up, so if anybody needs a date, I'm giving him away.
You're gonna return me. You're gonna be so disappointed. You're gonna be you're like, this dude just works. No, I don't. I try not to, but you're definitely gonna be disappointed.
So
I'm only good for her. I'm ruined for everybody else.
Wah, wah, wah. All right, so get your pen and your paper ready, and let's get into CA7s. Why is it that people get their CA7s denied?
We're just jumping right into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Like 12 minutes in, we're already going to start talking?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't shared, do that. And there's a lot of you watching right now. That's good. If we could triple it, that'd be better. All right, so why do claims for compensation get denied? So what happens is, thank God you get your claim accepted, right? Let's take a federal injury centers patient, somebody that comes to federal injury centers, and their claim gets accepted. So now their job is, I got to go back and get paid because I took all my time off, and I want that time back. I want to get paid for my time. And I wasn't paid for my time, so how do I do that? Well, you fill out a CA7, a claim for compensation.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the end.
Before you can even submit for a CA7, you must have to have your claim what?
I just said it, but go ahead. Tell people
accepted.
What you know. You see this? For 3 years, she's been paying such close attention. She knows that. That's so good. Yes, your claim has to be accepted. If it's not accepted because you're not at a federal injury center's office and you're the 6 out of 7 injured people that don't have an accepted claim, you can't file a CA7. You can, but they're definitely going to deny you. If you're at a federal injury center's office and 6.5 or 7 out of 7 of you have your claim accepted, I'm talking to you. The rest of you get there as soon as possible so we can get your claim accepted. But once it's accepted, you can get paid back for the time that you took off for injury reasons, right? If you went on vacation, take vacation time. This doesn't apply to you. But for those of you that were off due to the injury, you fill out a claim for compensation, it's a CA7. Sometimes you also fill out a CA7A, which is a time analysis form, which helps you document each of your days and how your day was spent, whether it was on the clock, off the clock, whatever. By the way, you can get all your forms at federalinjurycenters.com. There's a tab at the top that says OWCP Forms. We put it there because, we put it there Okay, so if that happens to me, it's just because she cooks really good, and I'm talking, and that food is still digesting, and we eat at 7. We need to eat at 6.
Anyways, back at the ranch.
Back at the ranch. All right, so so sometimes you need a CA7A and the time analysis form. Well, what happens is you took the time off and you weren't paid, and now your claim's accepted. What I tell people, and what my books, and I don't have copies of them here to show you, what they say is start documenting right away your time off, because it gets overwhelming. If it takes you 6 months to get your claim approved, then you have 6 months of things you have to document, right? And 6 months later, you're going to say, man, that's just so much work. It's overwhelming. I don't want to do it. So start today, all right? Right away, just start documenting and hang on to these things. Once your claim's accepted, you can send them all in and they'll reimburse you. But if you send those CA7s in without documentation, you're going to get a denial letter in the mail instead of a check. So if you would like a check instead of a denial letter, hit the like button.
I want a denial letter.
I don't see like buttons. I think people like denials.
I guess so. Show us some thumbs up and some hearts, folks. Let's go, let's go,
There
let's go.
we go. Okay.
Do you want a check? If you want a denied claim, a denied CA7, hit the mad face. And if you want a check,
there they
thumbs
are.
up and hearts. There we go.
All right, so I'm making light of it, but I'm making light of a very serious situation, because if you're waiting on a check and instead you get a denial letter, who's going to pay your rent, right? Who's going to pay the mortgage? Who's going to make your car payment? Who's going to pay your kids next semester in school, right?
Me.
Not you, because you get a check, and so that's a problem.
We're paying for 3. Womp, womp,
No.
womp.
Look, I want to get serious, but anyways, I probably won't. You need documentation. So with your CA7, let's get to this. You have to turn in a few things, and I think there's 4.
Yes.
I'm the expert. I'm not sure what there is. I'll let you know when I get to the end of it.
It's 4.
Number 1, you need your CA17. So if your doctor took you off of work, attach your CA17, your duty status report, to your CA7 claim for compensation. The other thing is, if you were off work because you were at the doctor or at therapy or getting an MRI or you're in surgery, get printouts of your appointments and have your doctor sign those printouts. If your doctor won't sign the printouts, your doctor is a coward. We recommend find a new doctor, but your doctor should sign those because you were there. You attach that. There's also a form called a CA20. A CA20 is a form that the doctor fills out and signs that gives your status. This is what's going on with the case. This is everything that's happened so far, and this is where we're at, right? But the most important part that never happens unless you're at federal injury centers is a disability narrative. And there was a time I didn't call it that. I just said write a narrative report explaining why you're off of work. But Jennifer Becerra, who you'll see her, she said, Chris, call that a disability narrative. And I said, why is that? Because that's what it is. So it was nice getting schooled by Jennifer. It's a disability narrative. So your doctor writes that explaining why you were off of work. So you have a 17 that took you off of work. You have a 20 that explains your situation. You have appointments printed out, signed by your doctor, but you have this disability narrative. It could be a paragraph, it could be a page, it could be 5 pages, whatever your doctor thinks is necessary, that explains why you're off of work. Example, this letter carrier walks 10 miles a day and has a broken tibia and can't walk 1 step. That might be a reason to be off of work. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't write great narratives. Actually, I do. But I'm not a doctor. Well, it's true.
Do hurry up. They have questions that we need to answer.
My point is you need to make sure your doctor writes a great narrative and gives great detail as to why you're off of work. It can't be this person's off of work because they have a work injury. Not good enough. You have a work injury. Why can't you go to work with restrictions, right? So have your doctor write a great detailed narrative explaining why it's important that you're off of work medically so you can get better. And that's the 4th thing. So you need all of those to attach to your CA7 and send that in. Now, guess what? If you send all that in, the vast majority of the time you'll just get paid. You'll get a paycheck in the mail instead of a denial letter. But if you don't send that stuff in, like 11 out of 10 times, you're going to get a denial letter.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if you do get a denial letter, you send all 4 things in? Well, okay, it could have been that the disability narrative wasn't good. It could have been that the claims examiner didn't read English good. I don't know what it is, but they always send you a denial letter in the mail that says at some point, specifically, your claim for compensation is denied because. At that point, you take that back to the doctor and say, hey, look, can we answer this because? And you do a reconsideration, and you send in the new information that doctor writes on his new disability or her new disability narrative and send that in. You'll get paid. What we want to do is have the good information sent in the beginning so you never get a denial. We want you to get paid on time. And by the way, on time means, because I saw this letter from a claims examiner, they said send in or turn in your information, the stuff that I just talked about, with every pay period, every 2 weeks. Now, you may only get paid once a month, I don't know, but turn in every 2 weeks, okay, because they want to pay you on time like you would get paid on time anyways. So don't be late. You can be late, okay, but it's your money. Why would you want to do that to yourself?
So what we're talking
And I want to say hi to Tanyelle. Tanyelle's on.
Is Tanyelle? Oh.
Yes. Hi, Tanyelle.
Hi, Tanyelle. So what he's talking about is when your case has to be approved to file your CA7s, and those are the 4 things that he talked about to file your CA7.
A CA17, a CA20, printouts of your appointments signed by the doctor, and a disability narrative explaining in great detail why it's medically necessary for you to be off of work.
Yep.
And attach all of that to your CA7. Now, let me tell you what's going to happen. You have to turn your CA7 into your supervisor because they have to fill out the second page and they turn it in, which means you have to trust them to turn all that documentation in. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't know your supervisor, and not knowing them, I still don't trust them. So for you, I want you to keep copies of everything, and then your supervisor has to turn that in within 5 days of receiving it, okay? But they want you to get paid on time.
Yeah.
So within 5 business days of you turning it in, I'd like you to call your claims examiner and ask if they received it.
Yeah.
And ask what they received. And if they did not receive everything, I'd like you to e-comp all your documentation to make sure they get it. Remember, this is your life. You can be at, what's the word? At the whatever of your supervisor. You can wait for your supervisor, but waiting sucks. Don't wait. At the mercy, thank you. You can be at the mercy of your supervisor, or you can be on top of your own case. And I recommend, and in all of my books I tell you, be in charge of your own case. It's your life.
Yeah. All right.
Do we have questions?
Tons.
I can't imagine that there's any questions. It's just about money.
All right, Diamond, you asked, you're currently looking for pain management. Unfortunately, we don't know all the pain management doctors, but normally the doctor that you're seeing for your injury should be able to refer you out to pain management. And if that doesn't work, just Google pain management and ask the billing manager, do you accept federal work comp? Because the front desk girls don't know that answer.
Yeah, pain management is a tricky thing, okay? That specialty or subspecialty, whatever, of medicine, some pain management doctors do injections and others do pills. Yeah. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a license. I can't tell you anything about medicine, okay? But I prefer the doctors, personally, that do the injections and the procedures that help me get better over the pills. Yeah. The pills make me sleepy and itchy. The injections make me better. And don't I?
Yeah, that's true.
So I have a terrible herniated disc in my back. Like, horrible. The worst, okay? And the only thing that keeps me upright and walking are injections, nerve root injections. Mm-hmm. But I don't have to take pills. Yeah. Which means I can talk to you tonight.
Again, those of you that are just hopping on and that just kind of came on, don't forget to share. I'm going to be picking the share winner this weekend, and we will announce it next week.
And what does the share winner get?
$200 gift card of your choice.
Yeah, so it's a share winner for the month of January.
Yeah.
So whoever has the most shares this month, which is coming to an end. So those of you that are not in the lead, you got some work to do. All you got to do is hit the share button. It's not that much work. While you're watching TV, hit share.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm not done. When you're in the restroom, hit share. While you're eating dinner, hit share. Right before you start driving your car, hit share. Don't do that when you're driving.
Oh my God, they shouldn't be on their phone while they're driving.
No, put that away. Yeah. Don't do that when you're driving. But hit share. Just the point is, share it with people that need this.
Yeah. And those of you asking about the book, I put where you can buy the book. You can go to www.breakingowcp.com.
We use more W's in our deal than other people do.
It's $14.95 for one. What is it?
$22.
$22 for both. And volume
Meaning the
one
second book
and
is half
volume
price.
2.
Yeah, so I've written 2 books, and some people come on here and go, man, this is like a forum for you to sell books. It's not, okay? It's buy it or don't buy it. You can still come here for free, and we'll teach you everything we teach you.
I thought you said bite or don't bite. I was like, what?
Look, that's up to you. What I said is buy it or don't buy it. Like purchase. But if you want it, it's at breakingowcp.com. I've written a couple of books that are, from my heart. I'm not the best writer ever, but I'm the best writer about OWCP that has ever written about it because only 2 others ever had. But it's all about how to help you so you don't deal with the problems that everyone else that came before you did. And the problems that people deal with are devastating. And, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about how devastating some of this stuff is because it makes me kind of emotional. But, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff. And you have too. You have too. Look, I've seen people getting fired and, getting fired and losing their jobs. Like I said, 2 different things.
They are.
Losing their homes,
Yeah.
eviction and stuff. But I've also seen people that are thinking about taking their lives. And we can't have that. And you, please don't do that. Okay, there are people you can call. Don't do that. We can help you. I'm not a counselor or psychologist. That's not my point. The point is we can help you get your claim accepted. We can help you navigate through this. And that's why we exist. We don't want you to go through the shit that you go through.
Yeah, and those of you that have been asking that you bought your book this day, you guys know what the post office looks like. And if those of you that don't work for the post office that are on here, it's coming. The post office is completely backed up.
Yeah, I'm so glad this came up. So some of you are having a hard time with the download version. I have a PDF copy on breakingowcp.com. If you buy the download version, don't say, I bought it, where's my book? There's one more step, and I'm going to talk to the web guy tomorrow night, actually, in person. You have to go hit the download button. If you don't download the book, you won't have it downloaded. You will have just paid me for a book I didn't give to you. Now, I will email the book to you. You'll get your PDF download. I refuse to let you pay and not get your book. But please pay attention to it. The last step after you buy it is to click again so you get your download.
Yeah.
If you bought the download and have not received it, it's because you didn't click the last step, and I will personally email it to you myself. Message us on this page your email address if you bought the download, and I'll be sure to send it to you.
Okay. All right, let's get some questions answered here. So again, we were talking about CA7s, why they get denied, and we told you the four pieces of paper that you need to attach to your CA17. So Juana says, I'm not getting no letters from OWCP. I had an impairment rating and no letters from my case manager, and no one will call me back.
So we've seen this happen before, actually. Somebody had, I don't want to say what agency, so don't say what agency, but at an agency, the HR person or manager or whoever put that the person's residence, their home address, was the agency. So at that person, all their documentation was going to the supervisor. How awful is that? So be sure that they have your correct address because everything gets sent to your home.
Yeah.
Everything goes to your home.
Melissa Marie said, my coworker was involved in an accident last fall, not at fault. Driver's lawyer offered a settlement. She tells me she has to pay back workers' comp. Is this true? She was not cited for anything. Okay,
so you're going to go ahead and post Eric's information?
Yeah. So when you guys get into an accident, if you work for USPS or even AFGE, there's a lot of FBIs and all those guys and government vehicles.
Yeah.
You have to contact a federal attorney. And we always talk about Eric Blowers. He's a federal attorney that we use, and we give out his name to everybody. And when you do that, you actually get 20% from the settlement. That's all you're going to get. But when you guys go with the local PI guys in your city and state, which are just as good, but they're not federal.
And they're going to eat into your portion.
Yeah,
and that's not okay either.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay that back.
Yeah. So she's 100%. You're really good at this.
I was working in that field before.
She actually did, but she's been paying attention to me too. She's really good. You've been really paying attention.
Hey, would you keep going?
So check it out.
Questions.
If you get in an auto accident at work, okay, your first instinct is going to be to call a personal injury attorney. Don't do that. Your first call is to a DOL attorney, and that federal workers' comp lawyer will contract with a PI attorney in your state. That's what you need to do. That's what Eric specializes in. Eric just finds PI attorneys in your state. But what that does for you is it allows you to get the 20% settlement after the attorney's fees.
And after everything has been paid for.
And it guarantees that you get lifetime medical benefits in case you don't get better right away. So don't just immediately contact a PI attorney, although I know a lot of PI attorneys who are freaking great, but they're not DOL attorneys. And so what we do is we have Eric work with those PI attorneys who are great, but Eric's great too, and you need them both.
Always have a federal attorney handle the case from the start, and then that federal attorney will find or work with an attorney in your state that does PI and work with it from there.
Correct.
Say, please just reach out to a federal attorney. If you don't know one, at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and post Eric's information. You can give him a call.
And just some of you are going to wonder what's in it for you to call Eric. Nothing at all. We don't get a kickback from Eric. We don't do kickbacks.
He's our attorney, so.
We don't do referral fees. We don't pay referral fees, and we don't do kickbacks, and we don't take kickbacks. If you call Eric, that's on you. If you would like to Google OWCP lawyer, you can find another one. But you'll wish you found Eric.
Brandon said, I'm an RCA for the post office who got denied for a heat exhaustion from working in an LLV because the supervisor who filled out the paperwork put that I had it because of willful misconduct, not from drinking enough water. You guys, when you're filling...
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you, but that's the second time I've heard that story.
Listen,
I'm going to use your story from now on.
Have to sit with them to fill it out so they don't write crap like that. And when they're writing crap like that, you tell them, no, that's not what I told you.
So let me add to that. First of all, and I don't know the answer to this question, so I'm going to ask one I don't know, which is kind of dangerous. But do you have rules, policies, or guidelines that say how much water you're supposed to drink? Now, before you answer that, my background, half a life ago, I have an exercise science degree. And so I know that everybody doesn't need the same amount of water every day. You know, some people need 100 ounces where some need 80 ounces. So how does your supervisor, who's, I'm sure, not educated in exercise science, know how much water you need? And also, do they have a medical license? I would say that first. Second, I would go ahead and go to a federal injury center's office who will write a letter, the narrative report, who would ask the question I just asked in their official medical report. What medical background does your supervisor have to know you didn't have enough water? How do they know how much water you had? Is there a camera in your LLV?
Hey, ask them to see their medical license.
Yeah, where's your medical license? Do that just for fun.
We've had somebody in Alabama actually tell the supervisor, let me see your medical license, because when we were there, we were training. We were going to union meetings, and we said that, and she actually asked the supervisor, and it worked.
It's crap, but let me tell you, the story that reminds me of is a lady in Maryland who was lifting a box over her head or a package or whatever, and she fell down, and her supervisor in that second page of the CA1 said it was willful misconduct because this person was noticeably unstable when she lifted that box. And so the doctor who I trained wrote a paragraph in his initial narrative report that got the claim accepted, by the way, and said the willful misconduct was on the part of the supervisor who noticed the instability and allowed this person to get hurt. So you can overcome these things, but if you don't take that form to the doctor, they can't help you.
Yeah.
So get copies of your CA1 and CA2 form, take to the doctor.
Lacey said, the narrative is why my claim was denied, and I'm having to argue it with my doctor about it. He seriously told me to hire a lawyer and sue DOL and the post office.
So you can't sue DOL. Yeah. You can't sue the post office. You probably don't need a lawyer, but you definitely need a new doctor.
Oh, Kevin Hall said, it used to be TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. You two have made us say TGIW. Thank God it's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. My eyes are tearing up. That is so sweet.
A lot of you have said a lot of really nice stuff. That was maybe the nicest, definitely among the nicest. Thanks, Kevin. I really appreciate that.
Let's see.
That's it now. We're going to go ahead and shut down. I'm just kidding. Don't hang up. Don't stop. I did that last week, and we lost 30% of fall. We're not stopping. We're still here.
Ashley Cox says, "Is it only certain agencies that use eComp?"
No,
all federal agencies.
So eComp is a federal workers' comp portal. Everybody uses it.
Adam said, "Federal Injury Centers of Dunedin is awesome. Awesome crew over there." Why, thank you. That's good to hear. We like the feedback. Lacey said, "My supervisor is why I still haven't been paid for my MJO despite physically working those hours before my claim was denied. And I was told I could no longer work on," what, MJO? Because I'm roll?
Yeah, so you roll carriers, unfortunately, get the short end of the stick on a few of these deals. And what I recommend to you is go to your union reps or your union president and see how they can help you.
Mr. Youssef said, "I have an OWCP claim since 10/2020 and I haven't filed a CA7 yet. Can I file for an award, not lost wages?" Well, was your claim accepted to begin with?
So I was going to say that. So if your claim's accepted, yes, you can file for a scheduled award, but not so fast. You've got to have a doctor say that you're at maximum medical improvement, MMI. And then you need a schedule or a impairment rating by the 6th edition before you can have a scheduled award. So there's a lot that goes into that. So I wrote a couple of books. Both of the books has a chapter on scheduled awards. You should look at those. The second one says how you calculate your award. Nobody's ever done that for you before me. But if you get them both, you'll have kind of the full picture on how you get a scheduled award.
Ron Jackson, "What are you all drinking tonight?" He's just being goofy tonight.
I'm just being goofy. She fed me really good tonight.
Kimberly said, "Shared your first book with my doctor this week."
Oh, good. Good. I hope that helps.
Ruth Crandall said, "Just got my second book today. Thank you."
You're welcome.
Pam, you need to get the second book. Yeah, you do. Madeline said,
I know where you can find it.
Yeah, just come visit us, Pam. Let's see. Media mail is stuck somewhere. Yeah, we heard that.
Sorry about that. So there's a couple of you that I was a little late mailing it out. I'd like to mail it out every day. But Joe was here and he's a taskmaster, so I was out a couple of days. Everything's gone. There are no orders that are in my house. They're all gone.
So any of the orders that you guys put in today will be mailed out. We're gonna somehow get them to the. We'll put them in the mailbox.
No, we'll get them out tomorrow. No problem.
Yeah, I'm saying if you guys are ordering books Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday until next Wednesday, we won't be able to get them out till next week because we'll be traveling to fix you guys up.
Yeah. So I want you to know if you get your orders in tonight, up until 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll make sure they're in the mail tomorrow before we get on an airplane.
Yeah.
After that, I just can't do anything about it. It'll take me a week to get them out. So just be aware that it's going to be a little bit late, and I'm sorry about that.
Teresa Renfro says, "It's very stressful. Andrew told me not to worry, but it's still anxiety-ridden. Thank you all for what you do." Yeah,
so it is anxiety-ridden, and that's why I wrote those books, by the way, and that's why we do what we do. We know you're struggling a lot. But just understand, if you're with a Federal Injury Center's office, 9.5 out of 10 times, you're getting your claim approved, and you'll get your benefits. It may take some time, and sometimes you don't have that time, but we're working with what we have to work with, but we'll get your claim approved.
Tracy Carter said, "I agree. Andrew is awesome, but he needs to clone himself. I feel so bad because I have so many questions, and I know I'm not alone. But yes, he is, and his team are awesome." So if you get stuck and he can't answer all your questions because they see a lot of patients per day, just give us a call. We have our national case manager. We have 2 other case managers working and going to be able to start helping you guys soon. Paul said, "Rotator cuff surgery approved. COVID canceled April. Hasn't been authorized again as comp change system." Right, they did change the system on COVID. "Meanwhile, IME doctor said can work to have to refuse job offer. What's next?"
I'm going to have to read that. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Oh, okay. So you need your doctor to write a narrative explaining why you can't work, and get a new CA-17 to go with it, CA-20. Take all that stuff to your supervisor, have that sent into your claims examiner, and if you have a nurse case manager, be sure they read it too. What happens on the IME doctors or second opinion doctors, whatever, they will look at you for 5 minutes or less and make an opinion that's not educated at all. So you want your doctor to refute it.
Yeah.
And somebody earlier said, what, you're not alone? That comment, it made me go get the book. So did you know that the subtitle is "You Are Not Alone"? So the reason why is you're here. And prior to this, you were alone. So we're really glad you're here.
Debbie, you said I asked a question earlier and you passed by it. So at the beginning, when you see me just looking straight down, I'm sitting there sharing it to groups that some of you don't share to.
Yeah, ask again,
so
please.
Just ask again. It's no big deal.
It's easy to miss it. With so many people watching, it's easy to miss. We don't mean to.
Okay, Lacey says, in my case, I was hurt on a private property. I was delivering a package and slipped on a customer's algae-covered walkway.
Ouch.
Should I wash my hands of the DOL headache and sue the homeowner, or should I still pursue with work comp?
No, but that's a great question. That's probably the best question of the whole night. So you probably have a third-party claim, which is the exact same as being in a car wreck. What you want to do is you want to file a CA-1, and there's a box that says, was this third-party claim? Yeah, it was. Somebody had slippery algae on their property. Then hire the lawyer, the DOL lawyer, that won't charge you anything out of your pocket because, it's a personal injury. But that's definitely something you need to do. And if you don't do it, Department of Labor is going to say, was this a third-party injury? If you don't say, yes, then what you've done is lied. So go tell the truth and get covered. You can definitely get help here, and you're eligible for the 20% settlement just like somebody that was in a car wreck. And those of you that are bit by a dog, if you know who the dog owner is, it's the same situation. Mm-hmm. That's a third-party claim. So I'm glad you asked that question. You should definitely get help. You didn't ask to go slip on the algae in somebody's park or somebody's driveway or whatever. You were just trying to do your job. Yeah. That's a claim that should be approved.
Yep. Remy Powell, you said, I'm a regular rule carrier, was recently rear-ended. How long does it usually take for an approval from DOL?
Well, unfortunately, there's no timelines that claims examiners have to say yes or no. So what you have to do is call every day. If that's what it takes, once a week, once a day, 3 times a day, whatever it takes to get your claims examiner to do what you want. They have to make a decision eventually.
And that's something we cannot control.
You got to do it yourself.
You guys to keep calling them. I know it sounds like you don't want to use. You need to harass them, but you have to email.
Yeah, I mean, be
call,
nice to them.
Just tell them I'm pretty much desperate. I need my claim to either get approved or denied. So you know what your next step is.
So I think nobody knows more about this system than myself and Jennifer. And if you ask any of us, could we call your claims examiner? We'd say no. They won't talk to us. You have to do it. Yeah. So just give them a call.
Tracy said, I'm waiting for authorization for back surgery. Got my first denial letter last week. Trying to work light duty, but the post office is not communicating with me.
Is the claim approved?
No, it's denied.
Well, they have to communicate with you no matter what. Either they send you home or whatever, but talk to your union, union president, stewards. Make them communicate with you.
Kim Davis said, I asked that question many times. Can I see your medical degree? Awesome, Kim. Everybody should be like Kim to their supervisors.
I know you have.
I know, yeah, I can see Kim.
If you know Kim for sure, she probably dreams about asking that question.
If you have an OJI and your doctors tell you that
on the job injury,
okay, can never carry your route again, what are your options? Do they have to offer you a different position within your restrictions? What if there's no position available within your restrictions?
So I was hoping nobody would ask anything like that. But in that case, you've got a job injury, you can never do your job again, and they won't offer you anything that you can do. Another option, it's the option I hate the most. I hate it so much that it's the last chapter of my second book. It's not even in my first book. It's called OPM Federal Disability. You may have to, and I'm not saying you do have to, you may have to file with the Office of Personnel Management on its OPM and file for federal disability. I hate that. Even in my book, I wrote it begrudgingly. I didn't want to write the book or the chapter. I want to write the book, not the chapter.
Kara Small.
Well, hold on. But talk to Eric Blowers. Eric Blowers specializes in federal disability.
And dog bites and
all
accidents.
That stuff, yeah. Third parties.
OPM disability and...
Yeah. He can guide you through that in a way that I can't.
Kara Small said, is an RCA eligible for pay for dog bite with possible nerve damage? How do they get paid? An average of hours worked.
Well, they are eligible for pay, and if you get bit by a dog, you should get full coverage of medical therapy. You should get paid to be off of work if you're off of work. Some people, after they get a dog bite, have some PTSD, and I'm not saying you do or anybody else does because I'm not a doctor. Would. But I'd probably be nervous around big dogs again if they bit me. So there's a lot of things that can happen. You have to get your claim approved, and then you're eligible for all the benefits anybody else would be.
Kim said, my new eye doctor doesn't know what an impairment rating is. How do I educate him?
You don't. You find another one that does.
Yeah, but Kim Davis has been going through this for quite some time.
I understand, but there's no way, Kim, you can educate a doctor on how to understand the 6th edition to permanent impairment unless you fully understand it and can teach it expertly. So you got to find somebody that does. That's tough. I understand. That's one of the hardest things.
Madeline Colvin said, I'm waiting on my reconsideration answer, but in the meantime, the doctor called me today to say they haven't gotten paid for the ankle surgery that was performed, and I said it was because of the bad narrative that I was denied. Then the doctor's office had the nerve to...
They probably didn't like that very much.
Nerve to give me the name and number of a federal lawyer to help me. Oh, yikes.
I'm sorry, where's she located? Where are you located? Yeah. Where are you at? We can help you. I think we can help you a lot. Even if you're located in a place where we don't have a doctor, give us a call, 877-787-OWCP, and let us help you. This is the kind of case I like to help.
Jen Haas says, how do you all have time to read? Are you talking to us, or are you talking about the people that have the book?
Yeah. So probably the people that have the book. This book takes like an hour to read if you read slow. It wasn't meant to be a novel. It's a little entertaining, I think. I mean, I'm not sure I'm the one that wrote it, but it's educational. And what it does is it takes a very complicated system that nobody understands. And like Tom says, our partner, he says, this system was built with confusion into it, Yeah. This is a confusing system. It was designed to confuse you. So what I did is I read everything, and then some.
He has.
And I wrote a couple of books about it so that it's easy for you. Because the reason you don't get your claims accepted at a high rate unless you come to us is because it's confusing. You don't know what to do next or first, So I wrote the book so that you could understand it. But you should read it fast. You should read it a couple of times, maybe more, and you'll understand it better.
Ron Jackson said, I got book number 2 yesterday, started reading it. Remy Powell, you said, I'm so confused about this process. Remy, give us a call at 877-787-OWCP. We got Jennifer and comedian Emmy that are here to help you.
And this is what we do. So there are other groups out there that charge you for that call. We never will, ever, no matter what. I don't care how long the call takes. I don't care how many calls we have with you. And everybody on here that knows us knows this is right. We'll never charge you a penny. We want to help. This is what we do. This is all we do. So please call us. Let us help you. Please.
Kara, you said she was bitten 5 times, 11 stitches. Ouch.
5 times? Like by one dog at the same time or 5 different dogs?
Wow. Chris said, when a second opinion and the treating physician disagrees, is management required to continue going off the treating physician's restrictions until the referee opinion?
Not necessarily. You know what? That's another thing. Management can go off the second opinion doc, and that's very frustrating. So that's why you need your treating doctor to write great reports, write narratives that refute what the other doctor said, and send that in to your claims examiner.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't wait to read this next question. Remy said, how long does it normally take to get an approval? I was rear-ended in December.
Well, a lot longer if you don't get the right lawyer in the beginning, but there's no time frame. They can decide as much time as it takes, but if you have a good DOL lawyer, it goes a lot faster.
So I'm going to read this one, and everybody pay attention. Brittany said, I'm a PFT. I got your book in the mail and showed them to my postmaster who was curious about them, and he said it sounded like a scam. Another employee also tried telling me it was a scam until I showed it to her. She told me that I should already know this stuff. When I asked her how, she said, I don't know. I get this a lot when asking questions at work, and it frustrates me. Well, you have the book, and the book is not a scam, and neither are we. And you could tell that supervisor I said to shove the book up their butt and learn the stuff.
So usually I'm the one that says stuff like that, so I'm just going to leave it at there.
Remy Powell said, I definitely have a third-party claim, and said yes.
Good.
Remy Powell said, who do I contact for an attorney who would possibly take my case?
So she's going to post Eric Blauer's contact information. He's the best. There are a lot of good ones. Okay, there's not. There's a few good ones. There's a very small handful, maybe 2 good ones, outside of Eric. And so definitely call him, because the thing I love about him is he'll tell you if you should not hire him. He won't just take your money when you don't need to give it.
He gives you a consultation over the phone.
Yeah. So we love that. We love Eric. And those of you that know him know that you love Eric. And if you do, hit the heart button. You'll see a bunch of hearts coming soon. And if you don't, you should.
Lacey said, my supervisor filled out the, is this a third-party claim? And he said, no. Can I edit it?
Well, no, you can't edit it. But if you got my book, you know that the supervisor is on the hook for any knowingly false claims that they make. And so if it's a third-party claim, it is what it is. And the beauty of it is that the doctor's notes have the precedence over the supervisor. When a doctor says something and they compare it to the supervisor's notes go away. They're just gone because the doctor has all the weight. So who cares what they say?
So, Brittany, I'm going to go back.
They, meaning the supervisor, who cares what they say?
Brittany, I'm going to go back because you said people...
I'm sorry, look at all those hearts.
Yeah.
That's all for Eric.
People thought that we were a scam and the book is a scam. I remember, because the next question is from Matt Hayes, and I remember when Matt first messaged us and was like, what are you guys all about? And until we really got talking to him, then he understood.
Matt, send me your credit card information right now.
He understood what we do, and we're not a scam.
Yeah.
So tell those people, your supervisors and all the people that thinks it's a scam, tell them, you know what? Maybe you guys should just go to Wednesday night chats and just watch it. So for all the people that thinks that we're a scam, I have one thing to say.
Don't say it.
I won't say it. Or I have one finger to say too.
No, look, I understand. You wouldn't believe it. I've been in front of so many crowds of 10 people, 100 people, 200 people, and here where 10,000 people will for sure watch this. And so I've heard a lot of people say, you know, what's in it for you? Not that much. I just want you to get help. Well, you're telling me you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart? No, we make money, but...
That's why we're franchising.
Whatever. You know, doctors make money too, but the ones that do a bad job make money. The ones that do a good job make money. Who do you want to go to? The good job ones. What we're doing is showing you how to find a good job doctor, and if you can't, showing you how to do a good job and get your claim accepted. Now, if you like denied claims, go somewhere else. That's not what we do. We don't do denied claims.
Yeah.
We don't do whatever causes you pain. My whole point in life is to fix it. So it's not a scam. I'm not asking you to pay me to fix it. I'm going to fix it. I've got 5 free forms on my OWCP, my Breaking OWCP website. And those 5 free forms are there because I've seen the pain you guys go through. They're free. Yeah. They're free forms. Believe me, I could charge you for them.
I don't know what.
And I could charge you a lot of money for those forms, and many of you would pay it because you know the pain you're dealing with. But I don't want to. I want to help you. And so the book, look, I charge for the book because there's a cost to me, but I want to get it out to you. I give it away almost for free if you knew what the cost was. I haven't made any profit on it. I don't want to. That's not the point. The point is to get you the information, and that's why you're here tonight. We're glad you're here because you're getting information you otherwise wouldn't have. So tell your friends it's not a scam. We're here to help, and nobody else is doing this but us. Nobody.
Yeah. And if we were a scam, we wouldn't be franchising our location, in the United States.
With 4 different lawyers saying, yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Tell them to call us. Matt says, if you end up finally getting a claim accepted, can your employer appeal the decision?
No. Your employer has no, their opinion has no weight. None whatsoever.
They're not a doctor. Again, ask for their medical
license. When the claim is approved, it's approved because of medical documentation. And your employer does not have medical background to refute the documentation.
Yep. Valerie
Great
Miller,
question.
Valerie Miller says, is Eric a DOL lawyer?
Well, he's a federal employee lawyer. He will not just do federal workers' comp. If you're wrongfully terminated, he can help you. So he does a lot of things, but he's an expert specifically in federal workers' comp, yes. And he's an ex-federal employee. In fact, he's an ex-FBI agent.
Brandon Smith said, I have an injury back in 2016, dislocated shoulder. Shoulder hasn't been the same ever since. Dislocated again this past December on the job. They had me fill out for reoccurring injury. They have burned up what sick leave I have, and now I'm burning up my vacation time. Caseworker said it could be months before my claim is approved. Will they reimburse my sick and annual leave?
They will, but you have to get your claim approved. So where are you located? I'd like to know that.
Yeah, where are you located? Lacey said, and I thought DOL attorneys do charge up front. Well, Eric doesn't charge unless you need to.
No, there are cases where he charges up front, but the point is he'll talk to you for free. There's nothing in the law that allows attorneys to take a percentage. Some attorneys try, and they actually do, and you do it because you don't know they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
But Eric knows you're not supposed to, so he doesn't take it. And he caps his bills at a percentage, but doesn't charge a percent. And he caps it at a percent that's lower than everybody else. So how do you beat that? Mm-hmm. The point is, you want to go to a place where they care about you more than the money. And that's what we're all about.
Remy, yes, we are talking about Eric Blowers, the attorney, so you said.
He's a bad, bad man. I'm telling you, he'll win, and he won't charge you a lot for it.
Chad said, I just got approved for my back surgery just
Good job,
this
Chad.
week. Good.
That's nice.
Jill said, they are going to eat up my annual, and I have no paycheck by the time they communicate. So far, crickets, but it's early.
So I want to say this, and this whole thing is about, how to get paid and how to avoid payment denials. The surest way to get paid is to clock in. And that's not always easy. Some of you are like literally on crutches.
Yeah.
Okay, clearly. So what you want to do is, ask your doctor to give you restrictions you can go to work for. If your supervisor will let you sit down because you're on crutches, then you get to clock in, and there's no hoops to jump through. They have to pay you. So the surest way to get paid is to clock in.
Yep. M.D. Torres said, I fell out of a work truck, and DOL said they are not approving my CA7 because I was accepted for heel contusion, but we later found out other issues during physical therapy as a result of this accident. What do I do?
So you're dealing with a situation called a diagnosis expansion. What that means is your doctor has to write a narrative called a diagnosis expansion report and add the new diagnoses. They may not be new. Maybe they were there the first day, but they weren't approved the first day. So you need to get those new diagnoses approved, and then everything will open up for you, and you'll get everything you need and want.
Tracy Carter said, my surgery was denied, asking for a better narrative. What?
Well, that's how all denials happen. Doctors write terrible narratives, and that causes denials. You need your doctor to write a better narrative.
Are you on tonight?
The narratives.
Yeah. Debbie Rosser, I tried to file a CA7 since December after my 45 days of COP, and work comp manager says I can't file a CA7 because the post office kept paying me. My postmaster says it will work out because they used my sick days for the first 10 days. HR says I have to pay back that money before I can file a CA7. My question is, how can I pay it back when I haven't received any pay this month?
That's really complicated. So you got a couple of things here. You get to be paid for your time off. You don't get to be paid for your time you're clocked in. But if you took a time off, you can do leave buyback with a CA7B. So it's very complicated, but I'd like to help you through it. Why don't you give us a call tomorrow, 787-877-OWCP, and we'll help you navigate that, fill the forms out, and get paid.
Yeah, Jill, you said my union told me to Google OWCP forms and don't wait for management. So you can go.
So that was
online.
right, and good for your union saying, don't wait for management.
So
I agree.
Here's all the ways you can find forms for when the supervisor says, I don't have that form. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can go on Google and Google the OWCP form. You can go on our app, Federal Injury Centers, on iTunes, Apple, iTunes. What is it called?
The App Store.
The App Store, and then the Google Google Play Store.
Get the Federal Injury Centers app.
Yeah, and the app looks just like the logo here on
Yeah,
our
and
shirt.
the point is it's got all the forms.
Heck, look at this. I have horns coming out of my head.
Baby, you're looking good.
And you can also go on federalinjurycenters.com.
To OWCP Forms tab.
And yeah, click on the tab and we have all the forms there.
So earlier I was going to say, it just hit me, why that matters. Because if you Google OWCP Forms too often, you'll go to the DOL website where the forms are, and you'll click on it, and it won't let you download the form. So we hated that, and so we put the forms on our site. We update them when they're updated, and they always download. So you can always find the forms on our site, always, no problems. And if you ever have a problem, please let me know so we can fix it.
So those of you that are asking about the book, it's right here. I pinned it right there. Okay.
It's at breakingowcp.com. There's 2 volumes. That's number 1. That's number 2.
Barbara also says, supervisors do not know the contract. How do you expect them to know about OWCP?
That's your union's problem.
Yeah.
You have to have your union enforce the contract.
Yeah. On top of that, last week we did our topic was supervisors. So if you guys want to go back and hear the questions and listen to the things that Chris read the laws and the rules about what supervisors cannot do, go back to last week's video and watch.
But the strong union leaders that we know, and we know a lot of them, they know how to enforce the contract. So go to your union and make them, or ask them, obviously nicely, enforce the contract. And they want to.
Aw, April said, thank God for you.
Thanks, April.
Let's see. Bruce Downs said, I went to my congressman when OWCP was dragging their feet and he moved things along very fast. We hear
Nice job,
we
Bruce.
hear that
That's
all
good.
the time, especially with AFGE. They always post, call your congressman with whatever's going on politically or within internal stuff. So that's always your last option to do.
Yeah, but we love that. I mean, if you're willing to take that step, please do. And everyone else, you just heard, Bruce went to his congressman and got results. That's an option.
Lacey said, I have to have surgery and can't because my claim was denied.
That's right. So you have
Sucks.
options.
Yeah.
But they're not good options. You can use your own health insurance, and then later on, your health insurance will communicate with OWCP and do what's called subrogation. I wouldn't recommend to you to hold off on something that your doctor thinks needs to happen right away. So that's an option that you have. Later on, you can get paid for your out-of-pocket.
Mary Olson said, my left shoulder has been bothering me off and on for the past year. It is now hurting and all the time. Should I fill out a CA2 before I retire on March 1st? Yes.
Okay, so my answer is yes, but you have to fill out a CA2 if you know for sure that your shoulder's hurting because of work. Only legitimate claims will be approved. I assume that it is, but just know that. I don't want to say absolutely blanket yes, because somebody's going to be reading it or hearing me say it and say, well, my knee hurts, so I'm going to make it work injury too, but, they play football on the weekends. So let's be sure it's work-related.
Ms. Rowland said, maybe I should send the Wednesday night OWCP link to my supervisor.
Yes.
Hey, share last week's video to your supervisor.
Last week was
a great one.
Last week was a woodshed version, so send them the woodshed version.
Jill said, you're driven to do good things. We're worn down by bad management, but you've restored my faith.
Oh, wow.
Aw, that is so sweet. You guys say the sweetest things.
So, Jill, I know the difference between good and bad management because I come from management. Not in the federal world, but that's my whole world. I mean, I have a master's in business and management, and I managed, hundreds of people at a time, thousands of people over time. So I know how to treat people good. And unfortunately, too many of your supervisors don't treat you good.
I have horns.
You look good, babe.
Samantha said, I was attacked by a dog on the mail route, had my dog spray and did everything I was supposed to, and the dog was unprovoked. This happened Saturday. How will I get paid with the Postal Service being an RCA? I was supposed to work all week.
So I want you to call Eric. I want you especially to call attorney Eric Blowers. I'm assuming you know who owns that dog because you run that route. If you know who owns the dog, you have a third-party claim. You're going to get that claim accepted.
Yeah. Jennifer or Kami, if you're on here, or Emmy, can you guys post Eric Blowers' number for me, please?
Yeah.
Paul said, refusing the job offer, but can't see my doctor for updated narrative till after that.
I don't know why.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how to answer that. I could see my doctor anytime I want to, so I'm not sure why.
Jill says, our boss often says, doctor can write anything, and we get things denied like lifting limitations. Well, the doctor is the doctor at the end of the day.
And they can write anything, but
Yeah.
what they write is the word. I mean, that's the way it goes. They're the medical professional, and your supervisor is not.
Teresa said, what's frustrating is our supervisors and postmasters act like the money we are trying to get for an injury is coming out of their pockets.
Well, let me tell you why that's happening. And
Wait.
now,
It's not like any of us want to be injured or in pain or deal with the stress for no reason.
Okay, so that's actually a really great point. Of course you don't. Like, you didn't wake up today and say, I hope I get hurt today. I hope I blow my knee out, or I can't, pick up a package because I blow out my back. Nobody thinks that. So, I don't know. I would just ignore what your supervisor's doing. They act like it's their money. I've heard rumors, this is not fact, but I've heard rumors that they are incentivized in some way to avoid work injury claims. I don't know if that's fact. So if you're watching this now and you think I'm libeling you, I don't know that's fact, but I've heard the rumor enough times. You hear it enough times, you want to ask questions at least.
Yeah. Brandon says, I live in Virginia, work in Bristol, Tennessee. Yikes.
Ouch.
Is that long? Leticia Smith said, thank you. I got approved now. I'm going through the changes with my CA7. Thanks for the contact with Dr. Harper. Awesome.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad that worked out for you.
What is the closest location you have to South Carolina? Florida.
But we are working on North and South Carolina offices.
Yeah.
So we're working on it, but sadly, unfortunately, Florida is the closest location.
So I know it sounds crazy because it's an 11-hour drive, but we have
a dozen people doing it
that come from South Carolina to the Clearwater office here, Dunedin office here. So I'm sorry, but we are coming.
And that's a painful drive, but nothing is more painful than a denied claim. So the drive is less painful than that.
Chad Williams says, the first 2.5 months directly after my injury, I kept getting doctors on the list that was not even taking federal work comp. I was given literally over a dozen doctors. When I'd call or show up, they would say I don't take OWCP claims. The list needs updated. Finally, because of you guys, I got hooked up with Andrew in Dunedin, Florida. Aw.
Yeah,
good.
so our list doesn't need updating. It just needs more doctors because all of our doctors want you. Unfortunately, Department of Labor's provider finder portal, it's not even in need of update. Like, they almost have to delete nearly everybody because I called once. Like, I went down like 11 pages of doctors in Alabama before I could find a single doctor that would take a referral for a surgery. Mm-hmm. It's unreal, and most states are like that. That provider finder portal, it's not current and it's not good. It's not good, and I don't like it. But we're trying to grow our network of doctors that want to help you.
Mary said, question, I have 2 total knee replacement surgeries. Yes, they were work comp related. One is almost 2 years out and the other 15 months. On my MMI, my doctor was asked if I may have problems in the future. His answer was yes. Also, I have permanent restrictions. I'm still having issues with both knees. Do I need to call my OWCP caseworker or can I go back to my doctor?
Go to your doctor. Definitely go to your doctor.
Joe's funny. You always say, any doctors in New York yet? We're coming, Joe. Every week he asks that.
I just talked to one yesterday.
Yeah.
And he seems really promising. I don't promise anything till the deal's done, but we really are working on it.
Yeah.
New York and California. We know there's huge need everywhere, but these are like huge cities, huge states with lots of people and no help.
Joe, as soon as we get one, I'm going to do a post that says, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
We're in New York. Here's the address.
Yeah.
Deborah Brooks says, can you clock in although you can't do any work because I had a rotator cuff surgery and still waiting for my approval because mine too was first denied due to doctor's notes.
Well, you can clock in if your supervisor lets you clock in. If your supervisor follows the restrictions on the CA-17, the answer is yes. If not, the answer is no. Obviously.
Amy J said, what area are the Illinois doctors going to be in?
Chicago, downtown.
Yeah.
Downtown. And we're working on locations in Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois as well. Southern.
I couldn't remember what
Yeah.
what the compass looked
Chicago,
like.
like downtown, Southern Illinois, and then over to St. Louis also, which kind of touches a few people in Illinois.
Barbara says, just ordered my books. Can't wait to read them.
I'm getting them out as fast as possible, Barbara. Thanks for getting it.
Felicia Craig said, I just filed my first case and glad I found you. Hope it helps me. It's so confusing.
It is, and we'll be able to help you. Just stick with us.
April said, I can't wait to get my book. Deborah Brooks said, my postmaster says we don't have light duty.
Well, you may not, and a lot of rural carriers are not offered it. So when your supervisor sends you home and your claim's accepted, you're getting paid. Okay? So this whole thing's for you. Get a CA7, fill it out, and attach all the documentation we talked about. You'll get paid. But in your documentation, be sure you add in there that the supervisor did not have work for you and they sent you home. So
I know Jennifer
we're about
and
10
Emmy,
minutes over, so let's answer a couple more questions.
Jennifer and Emmy did post attorney Eric Blowers' phone number.
Hey, Ruth, Michigan's looking good. Our office, or our doctor in Las Vegas, also has a location in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Mm-hmm. So we're working on that.
Melanie said, I had a head injury that was work comp, and now a few years later, I have reoccurring migraines from it. Sucks to have to use FMLA and my own sick.
Yeah, it does. Hang on. Somebody asked, how can I get a new claims examiner? You're probably not.
April, can I go to Florida? Of course you can. Flights are pretty cheap right now, so take advantage of it.
I did. I'm from Texas, and I'm in Florida.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, see, flights are, Teresa said, flights are cheap
They are.
with Allegiant to St. Pete.
And so are hotels. Hotels are ridiculously cheap. They're almost free compared to, normal prices.
I did. Okay, I did, and I'm in Kentucky going back to February. Allegiant has really cheap flights right now to St. Petersburg, which is 10 minutes from the Dunedin office. Yes.
Yep, that's right.
Madeline said, praying for a New York doctor.
We're working on it, but keep praying. We'll take that.
Where in New York is the doctor you are talking to? Oh.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's between JFK
near Kennedy Airport.
JFK Airport and Howard Beach.
Yeah.
He's going to be in between there somewhere until we get everything squared away and he's fully trained. Then we'll let you know the exact location. So if you see me putting like Chicago and there's a little city outside of Chicago, wait till I get the address.
But this is not a guarantee. He's
Right.
reviewing the information. He has not said yes. He just sounds promising. And I know the difference between I like it and I don't like it. He sounds like he does.
Miss Clark, you said, I was shared this page. Is this only for rural carriers and not city? So this is for all federal employees.
All agencies.
Nationwide, all unions, all agencies.
The rules are the same for all of you.
Everybody. So this is not, I know there's a lot of rural carriers on here.
And we're glad you're here. We love you.
So we help everybody in AFGE, NALC, rural carriers, mail handlers, APW.
Yep. Everybody.
So this is not just for one specific group. It's
NAGE,
for all.
the
NAGE,
Border Patrol, all of you. Yeah, we're here for you all.
Everybody that falls under AFGE.
No, Department of Labor.
No, I'm talking about AFGE.
Okay.
For Social Security.
Yeah.
Border Patrol, FBI, CIA.
Even if you're a civilian employee on a base,
yeah.
we help you.
Juanita said, glad to hear you're coming to Illinois. April said, I'll call tomorrow.
Good.
Debbie, you said, I would like your phone number to talk about an issue. The phone number is 877-787-OWCP.
Which is 6927.
Cindy said, thanks for everything you guys do. Helpful. We have Nina on here. They are with the Federal Injury Centers of McKinney, Texas.
Which is 20 minutes north of Dallas. It's a great location. It's a really beautiful office, too.
There is a form for available work that your supervisor can give you a copy.
Good. We'll get that and see how that works out for your doctor.
Aw, Pam said we love you.
We love you too, Pam. We
Jill.
really do. All
IRS, FBI, CIA, we see it all. All right, so we're at the last question. Robert, I need to complete CA7, but I don't want any error on this. Probably I need help.
So, Robert, please call us. We will be happy to help you. We'll go through every box. With that said, if you go to federalinjurycenters.com, we have a videos tab. And we have one video that's how to fill out a CA7. I think you should look at it, but you're still welcome to call us, and we'll be glad to help you out filling that out. We want you to get paid too.
Aw, Kim Tucker said, thank you all. I'm learning so much. Arkansas.
Yeah, hey, we're working on Arkansas. I actually have a doctor that's in Little Rock. We'll see what happens. I can't promise, but look, I'm spending all my waking hours talking to these docs, just trying to get them to say yes. So I'm working hard for you, and just, cross your fingers, say your prayers, and let's see what we can get, brought on.
All right, guys, so that wraps up for tonight's edition of Wednesday Night OWCP Chats. And tonight we covered what do you do when you get a denied CA7 and the 4 things to attach. And one more time, they are...
I can't remember. No, I'm just kidding. It's a CA7. I'm killing her tonight. It's a CA17 duty status report if your doctor took you off of work. A CA20 in all circumstances. Have your doctor fill that out. Get copies of your appointments and have it signed by the doctor. Just a printout of the appointment times. Your supervisors have no business seeing the doctor's notes. So get that. And then have your doctor write a narrative report that could be a paragraph or it could be pages long. It just depends on the doctor. Explaining why you're off of work. It's called a disability narrative. And attach all of that to your CA7 and be sure it's all sent in. Keep copies for yourself. So if your supervisor does a bad job and doesn't send it all in, you still can.
Miss Clark, you said, can't wait to go back and look at the video from last week. Yeah, last week's was about supervisors and Chris. Who's Crip?
He's that other guy.
Chris took him back to the woodshed.
I take him out behind. So last night I was actually nicer. I used like a leather strap instead of a cane. But, we like to have supervisors do their job. And in fact, I have a chapter in both of these books for supervisors. The chapter in this book tells supervisors how to love you. And this one tells them how not to screw you over.
Yeah. Teresa said, thank you all for taking the time out of your Wednesday evening to help us. You could be watching a movie with popcorn, but you're such caring people to do this.
I'd rather be talking to you. I appreciate that.
We love doing this.
And I like movie and popcorn, but I really love doing this.
Yeah.
So weeks we don't do it, I'm kind of like, can't we find a way to do it? I like doing it. You guys need it, and I need to be able to do it. It keeps me sharp as well. And so I really love talking to you and helping you, and what I really hate is for you to lose your money, lose your job, have to deal with, the stress of your supervisor giving you a hard time. I just have low tolerance for that, almost none. And so I like to be here to help you because you're all dealing with trouble every week, and I want to be here every week to help you.
You made my laugh, and I needed that. You made me laugh. Oh, I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know, but I got more. I got jokes. So, actually, I can't remember any jokes.
This little speech is just for TSA. TSA. Chris and I will be traveling from Tampa Airport to Houston to Dallas to Las Vegas and then back to Florida. So when you see us, say hello because we know there's a lot of TSA people on here. And yeah, that's the guy that does the show with me.
Yeah, so what happens is, go through. We can both be wearing a giant Federal Injury Center shirt, but I can have a Federal Injury Center's hat, a mask. I can have a sign that I'm holding that says, hey, I'm with Federal Injury Centers, and I can have like one of those foam hands that says, I'm that guy. And we'll go through, and she'll be wearing like a, I don't know, I like vodka shirt. But she'll get a message, or somebody will say, hey, are you that girl on that Facebook show with that other guy? I'm that other guy. Nobody knows who I am.
He's not my husband. He's not my partner. I just do the show with him.
I was like, wait, I'm not your husband? But that's what they think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you see her, just know I'm probably not far behind.
He's back there somewhere.
I mean, I'm Texan, so I'd usually let her go first, so she was probably in front of me. But what happens is you see her, and you're like, oh, that's that girl on Facebook, and you never saw me.
Latia, I'm going to if you can message us on Wednesday Night Chats, Jennifer, Emmy, or Kamini will reach out to you tomorrow, and they'll be able to help you with your question here that you haven't gotten an answer. You need some advice and help. We are here to help.
Yeah.
So TSA, don't forget to check us out tomorrow. I'll be posting some pictures
Especially
with that.
check her out because you're not going to know I'm there.
Oh my God. And those of you that are in Las Vegas, we will be at the Hilton Grand Vacation
Right
Resort.
on the strip. It's across the street from the Aria.
Yeah. So those of you that want to come see us,
please do.
You can come Tuesday night. I'll go ahead and post all of this information and Eric Blowers' information. And so we're hoping, I know there was 2 people that commented they'd like to meet us in Las Vegas.
So we have dinner Tuesday night.
Okay, Monday night.
Yeah, there we go.
Monday night. I haven't posted it, so I'll make sure I post. But come and see us anywhere from 7 to 9 o'clock. We'd love to meet with you guys. Bring your paperwork so we can go over it. And
that'd be awesome.
The last thing, we're kind of iffy because we can't remember what time our flight is next Wednesday. However, we will do Thursday night chats just to announce the winner of the share our videos and our posts. So the
what do they get?
They get $200 gift card of your choice.
To wherever, we don't care.
We don't care. You just tell us where you want it, or you just want a Visa gift card for $200. We'll send it to you. So I'll announce that next Thursday. And don't forget, when you guys are sharing and you want me to see if you're going to win or not, you have to make your share public. I can't see it if you're not putting it public. It doesn't show up on the people that shared the post.
Yeah.
So all your posts must be public so I could see it. So far we have 2 people in the lead that possibly could tie, and each of you get $200. And then next month, since it's Valentine's Day, I'm giving Chris away.
God help you.
So those of you that share,
you're going to definitely give me back.
So thank you guys so much. And those of you that are still want to share, you can share. Don't forget, go to breakingowcp.com to buy the book. It's $14.95 for one, $22 for both. And I hope to see a few of you guys in Vegas.
Yeah.
And and we have one person that's actually going to get the referral fee for giving us a doctor, and that is Dr. Daly in Huntsville, Alabama.
As soon as Dr. Daly signs his
Yeah.
agreement, which he hasn't done yet,
She knows, yeah.
we're waiting.
So we're really excited, and we're really excited to having all these doctors and being able to bring our franchise to your city and state.
Yep.
So with that said, don't forget to follow, like, and share, and watch us every week, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to be a sharer tonight, and
Yep.
maybe you'll be the $200 share winner. With that said, we'll see you guys next week to announce the share winner on Thursday night.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.